Two communities on each side of the state border gear up for $1 million merger. WIFR's Nathaniel Langley discovers some who are confident a fire department takeover can work, while others worry not everything is thought out.
Talk of South Beloit and Town of Beloit Fire Departments joining forces filled social media feeds and town hall meetings for months. That talk materializes on Friday.
We're doing what we can to help them because nobody else was willing to help them.
The Town of Beloit goes where no Wisconsin community has gone before, overseeing an Illinois city's fire department.
A lot being said about everything. For the better or for the worst, it doesn't matter. It's a challenge. That's what we're here for.
The South Beloit Fire Department is a part-time station until Friday, when $1 million one-year deal requires the Town of Beloit bring 9 full-time crew members across the state border.
It's not what a community the size of South Beloit ultimately deserves.
That's the voice of someone concerned with the agreement who wishes to remain anonymous. They claim there's still 3 positions left to be filled. Requested documents reveal some shifts have just 1 South Beloit crew member covering the city of nearly 8,000, with requests for backup on the rise as well. The concerned citizen says the situation in Beloit isn't too different.
The City of Beloit Fire Department unfortunately survives on the backs of other municipalities coming in to take calls for them.
There's a ladder effect that takes place, and that is the way it works in this area, and I think through the majority of the country.
The South Beloit deal calls for 3 full-time firefighters per shift, covering the crew needed for 1 fire truck. Others argue that minimum could dip if the full 9 aren't hired.
This is something that you don't want to have these huge mistakes with. This is people's lives that you're talking about.
Deputy Chief Snyder isn't worried what's coming. He believes some use the merger to push agendas.
Everybody has their own ideas. Social media has a head of its own.
Town of Beloit leaders see themselves as the first of many communities across the country solving an EMS shortage.
I think there's so many upsides to it that can help solve a lot of staffing problems that all departments are looking at.
The Town of Beloit administrator adds personnel shouldn't be considered specific to each community. Anyone, anywhere in the Town of Beloit Fire Department will respond to South Beloit and vice versa.
Thank you, Nathaniel. And Deputy Chief Snyder mentions your local fire department may not always be the one who responds first. Whichever agency is the closest will be the one to arrive.